And that, folks, is the beautiful sounds of this custom EEV tenor size ukulele made by Charles Fukuba. And I probably said this many times here with Ukulele Friend, but EEVs are one of my all-time favorite ukuleles. They just have such a unique sound to them, and the playability is just it's so good. And I'm always really excited to be able to play an EEV, and I feel like I've played like 20 or 30 of them. And what makes me so excited to talk about this instrument is, and I feel like I always say it every time I play Charles's instrument, he's always getting better. And man, it's just always a treat to be able to open up the case and like, wow, like a kid in a candy, it's like, look, that's so cool. And then pick it up, tune it up, and then just play a C chord. And when you listen to this, my gosh, this thing just jumps at you. The sound's absolutely incredible. I mean, there's just so much depth, so much warmth, so much precision, articulation. I mean, oh my gosh. It's so clean. It's really just, it's always such a treat to be able to play an EEV ukulele. So some details about this instrument. So this, if you guys might be familiar, if you guys know EEV ukuleles, but it might look a little familiar to you. This ukulele is actually an inspiration from his own 1879 EEV models. So you're gonna have the same body shape as his 1879 models, but what he went ahead and did is he upgraded, or he kind of modified and did like a hybrid type of bracing on this. So now when I play it, I can hear a difference. It's more open. There's more resonant. And again, this is probably one of the best EEVs I ever played. And I've been playing this probably for the last 15-20 minutes, and I'm still like blown away how clean this instrument is. But yeah, so there's the modified bracing on this instrument, but while still looking like the 1879 model. On the front here, we're gonna have beautiful, like this caramel, torrefied Sitka spruce, nice wide grains, but so even, so straight, and just, man, the color is crazy. The quarter sawn, or like the little tiny grains when you look at it at a certain angle in the light, it's spot on. This beautiful. And another beautiful thing too is this rosette, really unique looking rosette. So this is the mailele. It's a very popular type of lei used for like at graduation parties, or it's like a celebratory kind of lei. And he has that mailele perfectly, or this abalone, not even in a perfect circle, but just like the way the details of how he angled all of the leaves is just really beautiful, and it really stands out. Here on the sides with the binding, we have rock light binding. It almost looks like a rosewood type of binding, so this lighter brown color. So we have that on the top and the back, and then we have beautiful Hawaiian grade koa on the sides and the back. And you can just see so much of the grain. You can see different curls from here and here. You can go ahead and see the nice orange colors and the nice darker colors. Over here you can see all of the different types of color that koa gives, and it's really such a unique wood to use on instruments. But yeah, it's just, what a beautiful instrument. It's simple, it's not too blingy, but man, when you play that C chord, or when you just play anything on this ukulele, this is honestly probably one of the best sounding ukuleles I've played in a long time. I just can't get over how the sound quality of this. And I always like to strum a C chord and try to get all that sound out of there. It almost takes 10 seconds for the sound to finally go into silence, and it's so hard to find an instrument to go ahead and do that. So man. So some of the other specs on here, we have an ebony bridge, we have an ebony fretboard, and you guys can notice the fret markers are actually done in Roman numerals. So we have 3, 5, 7, 10, 12, and then 15. We have a nice little side port here, and again, the purpose of a side port is so that whenever you're strumming or playing an ukulele, the sound that you hear up here because of this angle is going to be different than if someone was sitting in front of the ukulele and you're playing for them. So the purpose of the side port is to give you an accurate representation of what you would hear if you're standing in front of the instrument and someone else is playing it. So I really do like these side parts. We got really, really nice mahogany gloss finish, wood on the neck. And it's really nice because it has curls in the mahogany when you look at it at certain angles in the light, all the way up to here. And then we have gold toe planetary tuners, very easy, very classy, small footprint, looks really nice. And then here we have royal blackwood on the faceplate of this EEV with the ohia flower, and then the EEV bird, the EEV ukulele, EEV bird, trying to suck the nectar from the flower, the ohia flower. And then the last thing I want to point out is that all the EEVs come with, or I think all the EEVs come with this little strap button. I want to get back to the sound if I wasn't already gushing about how beautiful this instrument sounds. Charlie is a musician himself, and the beautiful thing about when a luthier is a musician is that you kind of get both sides of the spectrum. So for me as a musician, I usually like to focus on sound and playability. That's like my two things. And then, number three would be like, oh yeah, I'm playing a beautiful instrument, but I want to make sure that, the instrument sounds good. And then I feel good when I play it. So, Charlie incorporates those two factors with his first thing being that he wants to build the best sounding instrument. And then he wants to focus on it being, it feels really good to play. And it definitely comes out, for me being a musician and playing a lot of his instruments and seeing the evolution of his instruments. His instruments are always one of the easiest to play. It's always one of the best to play, one of my favorites to play. So because he's a musician, he has the ear to know, like, hey, if I played ukulele, I would want it to feel like this because it makes me feel good. Or when I want to strum a C chord, I want to hear this big sound, or I want to hear this kind of sound quality that comes from his instrument. So I really like that about his instruments. I really like that he's a musician too, so that you can kind of double dip and he can keep refining and keep making his instruments better and better. So getting into the actual details of the sound quality of this, I usually like to look for a few different things with a really good sounding ukulele. First things first is that when you think of like a sound spectrum, and this is the kind of sound spectrum I like to use for the ukulele when I strum a C chord or I'm doing fingerstyle on it, is you'll have one end where you have your low ends, you have your oomph, you have your power, you have your depth. So when you strum a chord, it's like, is it kind of hollow sounding, or is there like a lot of body? Does it fill the room? And then the middle would be like the warmth, which is like your mids. So you're gonna have a lot of warmth, got a lot of resonance. It's gonna take a while, like if you strum a C chord, just like how this ukulele literally rings forever. It takes like 8 to 10 seconds for it to finally, be quiet after you strum a chord. So just listening to the warmth of the instrument. And then at the other side, at the other side of the spectrum is like the highs, the precision, the cleanliness of the sound, the articulation, the clarity of all these notes. So what I especially like about Charlie's instruments is that he really hits the nail on the head on that side of the spectrum. And I love how articulate all of his notes are when you're on the G string, when you're on the C string, when you're all the way up here on the 15th fret. It's like a pin drop. It's just like, it has such a precision and clarity. So I love that as a fingerstyle player. I need to make sure that my A's sound really crisp, but I want to make sure that when I'm playing every single note, I can hear every single note. It's not muddy. It's very... It's just super clean. Okay, so just going over those 3 checkpoints, just listen, you can feel the oomph, you can hear that depth in the instrument. There's so much power behind the instrument. And then again with the warmth, not only does it have a lot of the lower ends, but this instrument just sings. It has so much warmth, so much resonance. This instrument just fills the room up with its sound. And then again with the highs, you can hear... every single note very cleanly. So the note separation on this instrument is perfect. And for all of those reasons, it's again, EEVs are always one of my favorite instruments to play. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a sound sample on this and just kind of see where this instrument takes me. I'm going to go ahead and improvise a little. So hopefully you guys like this. All right, and here is what this instrument sounds like with some strumming. Beautiful.